The camera sweeps across the hushed courtroom. The atmosphere is heavy, as if everyone's holding their breath simultaneously. Beside one side of Kody Brown is his hair, once a golden hue, now streaked with gray, his jaw clenched like a fist. Across from him, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, faces once dotted with family laughter, now etched with betrayal, resentment, and fatigue. In the distance, Robyn grips a tissue, her hand shaking. The judge brings up her gavel. The echo sounds like a gunshot. This isn't a divorce court. It's something more sinister. Something that could forever alter the Brown family. Because today, the sister wives aren't battling for freedom, they're battling for truth, for justice, and for the secrets Kody vowed would never see the outside of their house. What if love, loyalty, and faith all came crashing together under oath, and the truth nobody wanted to hear was finally revealed? And when that happens, will any of them still be standing together? Think you've seen the sister wives drama already? Think again, this time it's in court. Stick with me, because what goes down in this courtroom will flip everything you thought you knew about the Brown family on its head. But first things first, if love and loyalty were put on trial, whose would you stand? Kody's or Christine's? Let me know in the comments below. The gavel bangs again. All rise, the bailiff bellows. Everyone rises, and the shuffling of feet echoes throughout the courtroom. The low hum of murmurs whirs like static. The Brown family, once bound together by faith, now torn apart by rage, sits across from one another for the first time in months. Christine's gaze never wavers from Kody. Not for an instant. Her expression is serene, but her breathing betrays her. Controlled, measured, the kind of calm that conceals a tempest behind it. Kody, meanwhile, sits taut, jaw locked, eyes flicking to the table where Robyn silently dabs her eyes. He's not accustomed to being on trial. He's accustomed to commanding power. And yet, here he sits. The judge, a woman in her late 50s with sharp spectacles and an even more incisive stare, adjusts her robe. "Mr. Brown," she says firmly, "you understand you're here today because of the petition filed by Ms. Christine Brown, correct?" Kody nods, his voice low. "Yes, Your Honor." Courtroom falls silent again. Cameras are not allowed inside, but the tension feels cinematic, like every blink could be a cut to a close-up. Christine's attorney, a steady-eyed but cool woman named Amelia Grant, rises. "Your Honor, fame is not what this case is about. Nor is it television or ratings. This case is about truth. My client lived in a regime of control masquerading as faith, one in which emotional manipulation had substituted for love." Kody sneers, saying, "That's not true." Christine's attorney goes on to say, "We will establish that Mr. Brown abused his power to intimidate, alienate, and emotionally harm not only Christine but his whole family." The words hang there like a challenge. Robyn's fingers close tightly on her purse. Meri's eyes fall to the table. Janelle's lips form a thin, unreadable line. What if the one you loved most was also the one pulling the strings the entire time? The judge gestures towards Kody's attorney, Thomas Green, a tall man with a cocky smirk. "Your Honor," he starts, "the plaintiff's assertions are emotionally charged but legally meaningless. There was no legal marriage between them. No property shared under the law. My client did not coerce anyone. He led a family by faith and consent." Christine's jaw clenches. She leans forward and speaks softly to her lawyer. "Tell them what he did with the accounts." Amelia's eyes are narrowed. "We'll get there." The judge glances between the two parties. "Then let's begin. Ms. Brown, you can take the stand." Christine rises, smoothing her blazer. The air seems instantly chilled. Her heels tap on the floor, slow and deliberate. She sits, lays her hand on the Bible, and swears the oath. She speaks with a quiver in her voice. "I do." Amelia moves in. "Christine, when did you know your marriage was broken?" Christine glances toward Kody. He does not turn around. She breathes softly. "When love ceased to feel like love and began to feel like a cage." Gasp waves through the audience benches. The judge raises a palm to quiet the whispers. Christine goes on, her voice more level now. I was warned that leaving would mean losing everything. My family, my children, my faith. But what kind of faith tells you to vanish to demonstrate loyalty? Kody squirms in his seat. Robyn's eyes well up with tears. Sometimes the hardest fights aren't done with fists, they're done with silence and the strength to finally speak. Amelia nods, allowing Christine's words to absorb. Christine, did you ever feel unsafe in the home? Christine pauses. Not unsafe, not physically, but emotionally? Yes. There were days I felt like a ghost walking through my own house. Janelle looks away. Meri swallows hard. Can you describe one of those days? Amelia asks softly. Christine looks up at the ceiling, as if she's observing memories being cast on the ceiling. It was our anniversary. I had spent the whole day cooking his favorite meal. He arrived late with Robyn. I was standing near the window when he walked by me as if I wasn't even there. No hello. No look. Just laughter, hand in hand with her. That's when I knew the family I helped build had already forgotten me. Kody's face flushes red. That's not fair, he blurts. The judge cuts in sharply. Mr. Brown, you'll have your turn. Christine looks directly at him now. I'm not here to punish you, Kody. I'm here because pretending didn't save us. Telling the truth might. The courtroom falls still again, the kind of silence that makes even the air seem afraid to move. Have you ever caught yourself that silence weighs more when it holds everything that hasn't been said? Kody leans in toward his attorney, saying something in a hushed tone, his hands trembling by mere degrees. Thomas rises. Your Honor, my client would prefer that all the financial charges be heard separately from emotional testimony. Amelia leaps into action. Respectfully, Your Honor, the emotional coercion is directly related to the financial manipulation. We have bank statements and recordings to substantiate it. The judge furrows his brow. Recordings? Christine nods. Voice memos. Interviews when we were still shooting. Things he said off camera. The judge looks at both sides. Then we'll have a look. You can sense the whole courtroom tense. Even the air conditioning hums louder. Robyn dabs at another tear and mutters, he didn't mean it like that. Under her breath, but everyone catches the remark. Kody glares at her for a split second. That expression, that burst of anger, isn't lost on the jury. Sometimes truth doesn't kill people, it just reveals who they've really been. Christine opens her folder and removes a tiny digital recorder. Her hand trembles as she sets it on the table. Play number 7, she says softly. Clerk presses play. A silent crackle, then Kody's voice fills the room, younger, crisper, assertive. If you can't deal with this family, then maybe you don't deserve to be in it. I don't need cheating wives. God didn't call me to babysit feelings. The recording ends. Christine drops her eyes. The room is silent. The judge clears her throat. We'll take a 10-minute recess. The gavel hits the block. The sound rings again, this time chilled. Kody gets to his feet, his attorney already whispering in his ear. Christine does not react. Robyn is crying softly. Janelle and Meri share a look, guilt mingled with relief. For the first time, you see it in Kody's eyes, a glimmer of fear. Because in this courtroom, love is no longer on trial. Power is. And when power begins to disintegrate, truth has a way of emerging. As the courtroom clears, Christine closes her eyes and whispers to herself, this is only the beginning. She's right. The deadliest secrets have yet to be spoken. The gavel bangs again. All rise, the bailiff announces, but the atmosphere in the room is different now. Heavier. Electrified. The family's return, more slowly this time, no longer a ritual but a reckoning. Christine sits down, her eyes fixed in front of her. Kody doesn't glance at her. Robyn blots her eyes, mumbling prayers under her breath. Janelle, normally reserved and collected, is ashen, her fingers drumming anxiously on her notebook. The judge inclines forward. Court is back in session. The plaintiff may proceed. Christine's lawyer rises. Your Honor, we'd like to submit Exhibit B, financial documentation showing hidden accounts, all managed under a business registered solely in Mr. Brown's name. Kody's lawyer quickly interjects. These accounts are legitimate, Your Honor. They were established for family expenses, travel, filming, housing. Christine's voice cuts through the silence. Except they weren't. They were for Robyn. Gasps emanate through the benches. Robyn's mouth opens in shock. That's not true, she says. Christine doesn't even blink. You know it is. You said once that Kody promised he'd never let you struggle again. While the rest of us were selling furniture to cover bills, you were having house renovations. Robyn buries her face. The click of cameras outside the courtroom doors filters through the walls. Kody stands, eyes blurring. That's enough, Christine. You're distorting, the judge interrupts. Mr. Brown, you'll be quiet until it's your turn. Christine looks at the judge, her voice shaking but firm. I don't want revenge. I just want honesty. I want him to come out and say he played favorites, not just emotionally but financially. Schley resonates differently once it's actually been spoken in a space where truth has a megaphone. Kody's attorney murmurs something in his ear, but Kody waves it off. He leans forward. You're making me sound like I didn't care about anyone else. I cared about all of you. Quiet but persistent voice of Janelle interjects from the benches. Then why did you stop calling the kids, Kody? Why did you forget their birthdays? The judge scowls. Mrs. Brown, you'll have your opportunity to testify later. But it's too late, the emotion is spilling out now. Christine looks over her shoulder at Janelle, eyes glassy. There's pain there, shared pain decades deep. Amelia, Christine's lawyer, senses the shift. Your Honor, given the nature of these testimonies, we'd like to call our next witness, Janelle Brown. Kody's head snaps up. What? The courtroom murmurs. The judge nods. Call her. Janelle rises slowly. Her hands shake, but her eyes do not waver. She takes a slow walk to the stand like a woman lugging 1,000 intangible weights, swears in, and takes her seat. Amelia approaches softly. Mrs. Brown, can you explain to us what you went through in the years preceding Christine's leaving? Janelle breathes. Distance. Confusion. We were instructed that loyalty to Kody included silence. That if we questioned the status quo, we were questioning God. Her words resonate, serene, hushed, heartbreaking. Did you ever feel forced to adhere to certain expectations? Amelia inquires. Yes. Financially, spiritually, emotionally. We all did. But once Robyn came in, everything was about her and her children. The money, the time, the attention, everything shifted. She looks at Robyn, already sobbing again. And when we brought it up, we were told we were jealous. That's how you begin to question your own reality. At other times, the cruelest manipulation doesn't echo with rage, it echoes with advice. Kody pounds his fist on the table. Stop painting me as a monster. You all consented to this lifestyle. The judge's voice cuts into the silence. Mr. Brown, one more tantrum and you'll be escorted out. Kody slumps back, panting. The courtroom is silent once more. Janelle glances down, fidgeting with her wedding ring, still on her hand yet lightly tarnished. I believed in our family. I believed in him. But faith shouldn't cost your self-worth. Christine's eyes water. Meri averts her gaze, trying to remain composed. Amelia moves in closer. Janelle, did you ever see financial control firsthand? Janelle shakes her head slowly. He held all the accounts in his name. We were given allowances, not access. Even when I questioned investments, he said, I'll handle it, you just trust me. The attorney holds up a folder. Your Honor, this has papers indicating those accounts were brought together 3 months prior to Christine's departure, and that $230,000 was put into a private fund under Mr. Brown's sole discretion. A gasp of surprise fills the air. Robyn breathes softly, "Oh my God." Kody glances at his attorney. "That is not the whole story." Christine leans in. "So tell it." Secrets do not remain hidden in court, they merely wait for the proper witness. The judge massages her temples. "We will have to examine those financial transactions. This could turn into a civil fraud case if substantiated." Kody's face goes like. He growls something under his breath, indistinguishable but furious. Janelle climbs down from the stand, shaking shoulders. Christine catches her to keep her upright. For an instant, just a flash, you can glimpse the sisterhood once more. The mutual sorrow under the headlines. Robyn rises to her feet, voice shaking. "I can't do this any longer. I can't just sit here and watch everybody blame him." The judge glances up. "Mrs. Brown, you'll have your opportunity to testify too." "No, I mean now," Robyn exclaims, her voice growing louder. "You people think you know him, but you weren't there when he fell apart. When he told me he didn't want to lose his family. He's not perfect, but he's not evil." Christine glares at her. "Then why didn't you stop him?" Robyn's breath is caught. Tears fall down her face. "Because I thought I could heal him." The room freezes once more, no one stirs. Even the best of intentions can overwhelm you when you're trying to save someone who never even learned to swim. Robyn leans back in her chair, quietly crying. Kody appears shattered between rage and guilt. Christine and Janelle sit together, unmoving but unyielding. The judge's throat clears. "This court will reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the continuation of testimony. Until then, we are adjourned." The gavel comes down, the ring echoing like the last gasp of a shattered home. As individuals begin to disperse, Christine faces Kody once more. "You once said truth would kill us. Perhaps that's the only way we can begin anew." Kody doesn't respond. He simply stands there and watches her walk away, his universe shattering in slow motion. 'Cause tomorrow Meri testifies, and what she is about to say could turn the case on its head. Sometimes the person who remained quiet the longest has the most deadly truth to share. The sun rises over Flagstaff the next morning with a grayness, not stormy but dense, like the clouds themselves pause for what's to come next. Courthouse doors swing open to the buzz of reporters on the outside, their cameras flashing like lightning during the day. Within, the Brown family comes in separately today. Christine enters quietly strong, Janelle following behind. Robyn brings up the rear, dressed in black, eyes puffy, makeup barely covering the tears of last night. And then Kody. His stride isn't as strong as it used to be. His face is drawn, his pace slower, each step sounding off down the corridor as if he's making his way further into his own shadow. The bailiff speaks, court is now in session. The gavel falls. The judge's voice is even, but there is weight behind it. Today we will be hearing from Mrs. Meri Brown. A murmur passes over the benches. Meri has not been heard from in public in months. No interviews. No statements. Nothing. She stands up deliberately, smoothing out the sleeve of her tan blazer. For an instant she pauses, then moves towards the stand, eyes on the floor. She swears in, sits, and breathes unsteadily. The courtroom is again holding its collective breath. Christine glances at her, curious, hopeful, a little fearful. Robyn's hands contort in her lap. Kody won't even glance at her. Amelia, Christine's attorney, steps forward. "Mrs. Brown, you've been a part of this family for over 30 years. Can you tell the court your understanding of the family's structure and your relationship with Mr. Brown during that time?" Meri's voice is gentle but unexpectedly firm. "It began in faith. It always did. We thought we were creating something that would last forever. But along the way, eternity came to sound like a penalty." A small gasp from one of the people in the gallery interrupts the stillness. She goes on. "When Christine went away, I remained because I thought that loyalty and love were one and the same. But loyalty without love is just fear in disguise. It's ironic the way truth can sound so soft and sting more than any blame. Kody moves, at last lifting his eyes. His gaze is keen now. That's different from what you said before, Meri. You said you knew. She faces him, her expression inscrutable. I knew. I simply didn't agree any longer. Amelia nods. Meri, during the time following Christine's leaving, did Mr. Brown ever talk with you about family finances? Meri pauses, her hands playing with the edge of her jacket. Yes. Once. He said the accounts were being balanced in order to protect the family. That we needed to present a united front, even if we weren't. Did he say anything about transfers or real estate reassignment? Meri gulps hard. Yes. He made me sign papers that I didn't read completely. Then I discovered that I'd signed over the Flagstaff property to a trust in Robyn's name. Robyn gasps visibly. No. Kody, make them deny it. Kody's attorney stands up hastily. Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and irrelevant to the claim of emotions. The judge looks at Meri. Do you have evidence of this? Meri nods. Yes. I saved the emails. The atmosphere shifts. You sense the tension change, as though the tale everyone believed they knew just broke open. The judge waves the clerk in to gather the evidence. As the papers are handed over the bench, Kody's face bleaches white. Christine and Janelle share shocked glances. Even Robyn appears momentarily speechless. Meri leans back, exhaling. I wasn't supposed to know. But when I did, I understood this was no longer about family. It was about control, about image, and about keeping Robyn safe and the rest of us bearing the burden. The judge examines the documents. Mrs. Brown, these signatures do seem to match formal records. Mr. Brown, do you challenge this? Kody's voice breaks for the first time. I was trying to defend what little we had left. I didn't want the network to view us as fractured. We were still in contract. If they believed we'd broken up, we'd lose everything. Christine shakes her head. We already lost everything, Kody. Sometimes the truth isn't about who's right, it's about who finally stops pretending. Robyn wipes away her tears. You don't get it. He was afraid. We were all. Janelle mutters under her breath. Fear doesn't justify betrayal. The judge taps the gavel gently. Enough. Proceed. Amelia addresses Meri once more. Meri, one more thing. Why now do you come forward? Meri glances down, then up again, her eyes brimming. Because silence was devouring me. Because I loved him too once, but I can't continue shielding a man who never shielded us. Kody glances at her, hurt crossing his face like a lightning bolt. You think I didn't shield you? I gave you everything. Meri's tone turns hard. You gave us terms. The courtroom falls totally silent. Even the reporters outside seem to pause, as if the building itself stopped breathing for a moment. Sometimes the final break doesn't come from anger. It comes from the quiet realization that love was never equal. The judge leans back, expression unreadable. We'll take a short recess before continuing. As everyone begins to rise, Robyn suddenly speaks, softly, trembling but loud enough for everyone to hear. He instructed me to take the property. He said it was temporary. He said in case something happened, I'd be the one to safeguard the family's assets. Christine freezes. Janelle stares at her, eyes wide. Meri's face pales. The judge studies Robyn closely. Mrs. Brown, are you admitting to taking part in the transfer? Robyn's voice cracks. Yes. But I didn't realize it would come to this. I thought he had a plan. Kody buries his face in his hands. The whispers erupt across the room. Love and devotion meet, and the truth doesn't discriminate, it incinerates all of us equally. The judge bangs the gavel hard. Enough. We will reconvene in 30 minutes. Mrs. Brown, you will remain for questioning. As the courtroom drains, Christine slumps against the bench, mumbling to herself, "He used us all." Janelle places a hand on her shoulder. And now everyone knows finally. But as the doors shut behind Kody, his attorney draws him in, speaking in a hushed tone. "There's something worse coming, Kody. The emails, they're not the only thing Meri discovered." Cody's eyes grow dark and empty as he looks up. "What do you mean?" The attorney pauses. "There's a second group of papers, documents that refer to your name and Robyn's, associated with a private LLC in the state of Nevada. That arises, this case could not only finish your reputation, could turn criminal." Kody stares down the empty hallway, his reflection distorted in the marble floor. For the first time, the man who once claimed to lead a family by faith looks completely faithless. The deeper the truth goes, the more dangerous it becomes. And next, it's not love on trial, it's legacy. The sunbeams of the late afternoon filter through the tall courtroom windows, slashing narrow lines of gold across the wood floor. Dust lingers in the air, suspended and motionless, as if time itself had paused to hear. When court reconvenes, there is no conversation this time. No hushed rumor mill. Only silence, the kind that holds meaning. Kody Brown sits, with his attorney on either side, but he is not the same as before. Humble. Shaken. Perhaps even scared. Robyn stands behind him, arms crossed tightly, mouth pressed white. Christine and Janelle sit beside one another, the way battle-tired comrades who've seen too much to ever return do. Meri gapes at the vacant witness stand as if still drawing strength from what she'd already testified to. The judge clears her throat. "Before we continue with new testimony, the court received additional documents regarding the Nevada accounts." Counselors approach. There is a hush as both attorneys walk towards the bench. Paper rustling, a soft whisper between lawyers, and then the judge nods sternly. She glances up. "Mr. Brown, the court has seen evidence that 2 pieces of property and several business accounts were listed under an LLC you created with Mrs. Robyn Brown in 2021, without informing or including the signatures of the other wives. Is that true?" Kody stiffens. "That was business planning, not fraud." Amelia, Christine's attorney, stands. "Your Honor, these assets were funded with communal money. That is fraud." There is a murmur in the room. Kody's jaw clenches. It wasn't fraud. It was family protection. Christine's voice rises above the din, firm, incisive. "Protection for whom, Kody? You declared it a family, but what you actually meant was your family. The one that still feared you." The courtroom falls silent once more. Kody's attorney attempts to interrupt, but the judge holds up a hand. "Let him respond." Kody blows out slowly, his tone softer now. "You all lost faith in me. How was I to lead if no one was going to follow? Robyn was the only one who still believed." Christine's laughter is bitter but not cruel. "Faith? You mean devotional fear? Sometimes love does not die in battle, it just withers in the silence when trust no longer makes appearances." Janelle hunches forward. "We trusted you, Kody. We just lost believing everything had to filter through you." Meri's voice is barely audible but distinct. "You didn't want partners. You wanted witnesses to your love." Robyn finally speaks. Her voice is shaking. "Stop. Please stop. You don't understand. He didn't do it for power. He did it because he thought if he kept something in our names, the show would end. We would lose everything. He thought this would save us." Christine faces her, eyes watery but firm. "And did it, Robyn? Did it save us?" Robyn's mouth opens, but no sound escapes. The judge leans forward. "Mrs. Brown, are you affirming that the LLC was created without the entire family's agreement?" Robyn pauses, then leans in to whisper, "Yes." Gasps move through the courtroom. Kody's head falls into his hands. His attorney grumbles something under his breath. "Truth admitted is a bridge burned behind you. There's no turning back once the flames begin." The judge nods solemnly. Then the court will seek review for financial misconduct subject to confirmation. For now, we'll resume testimony. Amelia approaches Christine. Ms. Brown, one last question before we recess. After all this, the breakup, the secret finances, the deception, what do you want from this case? Christine glances down, her fingers running the grain of the wooden table. Her tone is softer now, yet it's weighted with years. I don't want his money. I don't want revenge. I just want to be acknowledged that what we endured wasn't faith. It was control masquerading in holy words. I want to be free without being disloyal. Tears glint in Robyn's eyes. Meri turns away, hand over her mouth. Janelle clings to the edge of the bench. The judge hears, eyes softening a little. And what if that admission never occurs? Christine inhales slowly. Then at least the truth did. Sometimes healing doesn't come from victory, it comes from finally saying out loud what shattered you. Kody raises his head, voice breaking. Christine, I never meant to hurt you. Any of you. For an instant, the courtroom is in suspension, as if even pain is waiting to hear what she has to say. Christine regards him, not with anger, but with something much more sorrowful. I know you didn't intend to, but intent doesn't take back harm, Kody. Her words hang there like smoke that won't clear. The judge thumps her gavel. The court will recess for 1 hour. Following that, closing arguments will commence. The gavel comes down. All rise, but Robyn stays seated, watching Kody's hands, once clasped in prayer with hers, now shaking on the table. As Christine moves toward the door, Robyn speaks up. Christine, wait. Christine freezes, a slow turn. The doors to the courtroom swing open behind her, sunlight slicing through dust. Robyn rises, her voice cracking. You were right. About everything. About him. About me. About all of it. Kody's head whips toward her. Robyn, don't. But she keeps going, tears flowing more freely now. No, they have the right to know. You didn't just keep money hidden. You kept the reason we moved, the reason we left Vegas, the reason everything collapsed. You told me not to tell. Christine's brow furrows. What reason? The courtroom quiets once more. Robyn glances at the judge, then at Christine. Because he was being investigated by the state of Nevada for taxes owed on the family business. The room erupts in whispers. Cameras click outside. The judge pounds the gavel again and again. Christine's eyes go wide. What? Kody's voice grows loud, pleading. That case was dismissed. It was nothing. Robyn shakes her head. It wasn't nothing. You told us we had to go before it became public. You told me if the truth was revealed, TLC would cancel the show and everything would fall apart. Kody bangs his hand on the table. You don't know what you're talking about. Robyn's voice breaks, screaming through sobs. Then why did you make me sign the withdrawal papers? Sometimes the truth does not merely demolish, it reveals what was already festering beneath the surface. The judge cries out, Order! Order in this court! The bailiff advances as Kody's chair scrapes harshly backward. Christine freezes. Janelle covers her mouth, tears streaming in her eyes. Meri simply sits there staring, seeing at last the man she once thought could never shatter. Kody gasps for breath, his voice close to a whisper. I was trying to protect you. All of you. Christine's voice shakes but remains firm. No, Kody. You were trying to protect yourself. The judge bangs the gavel for the final time. This court will recess until further notice while these new charges are considered. And suddenly it's finished, at least for now. But as Kody is escorted from the room, the expression on his face is enough to tell. This isn't the end of a marriage anymore. It's the end of an empire. And sometimes when an empire falls, it doesn't fall all at once. It falls quietly, bit by bit, until what's left is truth. Courtroom clears, but Christine stays seated for a few more moments, looking at the vacant chair opposite her. The guy who had vowed all this time. now simply another stranger in a suit. When she does stand to exit, her voice is a near whisper. Freedom doesn't always taste sweet at first. Sometimes it just feels quiet. Courthouse doors swing open into a whirlwind of flashing cameras and barked questions. Journalists overwhelm like an ocean of din, microphones shoved ahead, flashbulbs blinding. Christine, that you have secret accounts? Kody, are you being charged with tax fraud? Robyn, were you aware of the LLC? Security attempts to clear a pathway, but pandemonium engulfs the steps. Christine covers her face as photographers shout her name. Kody keeps his head down, jaw clenched, hand holding onto his lawyer's shoulder like a lifeline. Robyn trails behind, tears streaking her makeup, her voice trembling as she says, "Please, please stop." But no one stops. The air hums with tension. Fans, critics, and strangers alike stand behind barricades, some shouting support, others spitting venom. Signs read "Justice for the sister wives" and "Liar Kody exposed." One woman even shouts, "Christine, you're our hero." Christine barely reacts. She's too tired, too hollow. Each step feels heavier than the last. Fame never lets you know what it costs until it's too late to request a refund. Within a black SUV, she finally breathes. Her hands tremble as she removes her mic, the one she'd had wrapped around her neck for hours of testifying. In the window's reflection, she doesn't see herself. She sees the woman she once was. The one who smiled in front of cameras, the one who described polygamy as beautiful chaos. Now all she can see is the devastation. The SUV speeds away. Through tinted glass, the courthouse recedes from view, the final remnant of that communally lived life now lost. Cut to Robyn, sitting in a different car in the parking lot. She regards the window silently. Her phone vibrates, dozens of missed calls. Producers, lawyers, executives from TLC. Her driver glances back nervously. "Ma'am, would you like to go home?" Robyn nods. But home isn't home anymore. Not without the illusion. Not with the truth ringing in her head. She recites Christine's words over and over. Meaning doesn't erase damage. The silence after exposure is louder than any argument, because silence compels you to confront what the noise used to conceal. Later that night, the headlines burst onto every news channel. Sister Wives Empire collapses over fraud accusations. Kody Brown accused of keeping co-wives in the dark about money. Robyn Brown admits secret LLC business. They replay the courtroom clips on loop. Christine's cool insolence. Robyn's sobbing admission. Kody's shaking voice. On social media, it gets picked apart with precision. Some declare it justice. Others declare it tragedy. And for the Brown family, it's a little bit of both. Meanwhile, Christine sits by herself in her Utah kitchen. Clock ticked quietly, the whirring of the fridge its only companion. On the counter, her phone flashes, texts from Janelle, her kids, producers requesting comment. She doesn't respond to them. She opens her laptop. The family's old picture, them all smiling hand in hand, takes up the screen. She looks at it for a long time, tears shining. "God, look at us," she says. "We really thought we could make it work." Her youngest child enters quietly, rubbing her eyes. "Mommy, are you okay?" Christine manages a smile. "Yeah, honey." Mommy's just remembering. The little girl nods, gets onto her lap, and rests her head on Christine's shoulder. For the first time today, Christine allows herself to cry. Not hard. Just soft, quaking sobs that come from somewhere deep. Because even when you do win, loss has a way of slipping in through the edges. Sometimes the worst part of freedom is knowing it still hurts. Cut to Robyn's home. Dimly lit. Wine glass on the counter empty. She sits in the window seat, scrolling on her phone. Hate comments. Angry DMs, trial clips. Then a knock on the door. She freezes. Creeps over. Pins it. It's Meri. Neither of them says anything for a moment. Then Meri sighs. "May I enter?" Robyn nods wordlessly. They sit across from one another, two women who once referred to each other as sister wives. Meri speaks first, breaking the silence. You did what you felt was best. But it's time to stop shielding him. Robyn's voice breaks. I know, but I still love him. Meri looks down. So did I. And that's what shattered me. They sit in silence for a bit, the air heavy with all the things they'll never speak out loud. Then Robyn whispers, Do you ever think we were the problem? Meri slowly shakes her head. No, Robyn. The problem was that we forgot we were people before we were wives. It's odd how the people you share everything with can be strangers once truth enters the room. Next day, Kody walks alone through his property, empty, quiet. He used to love mornings here. Now every corner feels haunted by laughter that isn't coming back. His lawyer's words echo in his head. If this investigation sticks, you'll lose not just the show, but everything tied to it. He looks out at the horizon. They think I'm the villain, he mutters to himself. But they don't know what I've lost. For an instant, he is almost human once more, fragile, shattered, small. He kneels down, lifts a dropped photo frame from the porch steps. It is cracked. The glass slices his finger, but he doesn't feel it. Inside, a photo of all of them, laughing. Together. He says softly, Perhaps it was not meant to last. The wind takes the words away. Regret doesn't blow in like a hurricane, it seeps in slowly until you find yourself drowning in what-ifs. Night descends. They all sit alone, Christine gazing at the stars, Robyn holding her phone, Meri incinerating old letters, Janelle glancing at her sleeping children, and Kody gazing at his own face, hoping to find the man he imagined he was. The sister wives are no longer a family. They're pieces of a narrative the world can't help but watch. But the true test, the one that isn't on television, is only just starting. 'Cause the question now isn't who's guilty. It's what's next. When the truth shatters a family, can forgiveness rebuild it, or is some harm intended to remain permanent? This is where everything that was concealed comes back in the full exposure of cameras. It's emotional, intense, and deeply personal, the ideal conflagration of confrontation, confession, and collapse. Tone will shift abruptly from quiet, introspective narration to incendiary, emotional argument, keeping your audience stuck for that all-important mid to late stretch where fall-offs tend to occur. A retention booster shows up, as always every 300 words, naturally integrated and bolded to grab audience attention. The studio lights are burning bright, too bright. Ranks of cameras hum in silence, red lights flashing, poised to record every breath, every quiver, every tear. It's the first time the Brown family have all gathered since the trial concluded, and it doesn't feel much like a reunion. It feels more like a reckoning. The host, a poised but firm woman by name of Dana Wells, sits on center stage. Her voice possesses that ideal TV blend of compassion and command. Tonight, she tells the lens, for the first time since Courtroom drama, the sister wives and Kody Brown sit face to face. No attorneys. No judge. Only truth. The audience goes quiet. Cross one side of the stage, Christine, Janelle, and Meri. Cross from them, Kody and Robyn. A lengthy glass table divides them, but the actual distance is emotional, miles of hurt and shattered trust. Kody's hair is pulled back, his spine stiff. Robyn appears tight, holding a tissue in her lap. Christine's gaze is firm, no longer angry, just exhausted. Meri clasps her hands together, her eyes darting back and forth between them all. Dana smiles slightly, though her eyes are keen. Thank you all for coming. Let's begin with simple questions. Why agree to do this? Christine responds first, her voice even. 'Cause the world saw us come apart. They have a right to know what really occurred, not what made it to the tabloids. Kody breathes through his nose, grumbling, they don't have the right to anything. This was our life, not a sideshow. Christine glares at him. Then why did you let it be one? Crowd grows restless. Dana raises a hand to still them. Truth cuts deeper when it's spoken aloud in front of the world, because there's nowhere left to hide. Janelle leans in. We existed on TV for more than a decade, Kody. You can't just pretend that privacy is sacred when you constructed your life under cameras. Kody's jaw clenches. I constructed it for all of us, to get by, to provide the family a future. Christine slowly nods. You mean your future? A gentle gasp brings a ripple through the crowd. Dana interrupts. Christine, now that the court has ruled, how has your life changed? Christine breathes deeply. Quieter. It's simpler. I can finally make decisions without worrying about them being overruled. But it's not easy. People still believe I'm bitter. I'm not. I'm just done. Robyn's voice interrupts, tiny and trembling. You don't know what it's like, Christine. He didn't mean for things to happen like this. He thought, Christine cuts in, her voice firm but not hard. Stop making excuses for him, Robyn. You knew. Robyn winces. I didn't know everything. Christine leans forward, her gaze hardening. You knew enough to be quiet when it counted. Sometimes silence doesn't save love, it entombs it. The energy in the room changes. Even the audience can sense it, that heavy tension between sympathy and anger. Dana draws a deep breath, surveying the group. Meri, you've been quiet. How do you feel at the moment? Meri raises her eyes, her vision blurred with tears. Tired. I'm tired of being the ghost in this tale. I remained loyal even when loyalty cost me. And for what? To see it all dissolve in paperwork. The studio is quiet. Kody looks at her, his voice soft. Meri, I never intended to erase you. She smiles sorrowfully. You didn't erase me, Kody. You simply stopped looking at me. Even Robyn glances away. Pain doesn't necessarily shout. Sometimes it merely whispers, I used to matter. Dana nods sympathetically. Let's discuss what everyone's been wondering. The investigation. Kody, are you still charged in the Nevada accounts? Kody's face grows stern. No official charges. Just an audit. They didn't discover anything illegal. Christine raises an eyebrow. Not illegal doesn't equal ethical. Kody bangs a fist on the table. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Watching me incinerate. Christine doesn't blink. No. I'm watching you confront what you constructed. The atmosphere is charged, tense enough to vibrate. When truth does finally land in the air, it doesn't burst, it chokes slowly until one of them cracks first. Dana glances over toward the producers offstage. They nod, indicating it's time. All right, she says. Before we go on, we have a person who requested to be part of this discussion. Someone who claims they know something that will alter everything. The lights dim slightly. The studio door opens. All heads turn. A man enters, mid-40s, suit-pressed, confidence-cutting. Kody's face bleaches of color. Christine breathes, Who is that? The man stands up next to Dana, clutching a thin folder. My name is David Cooper. I was Kody Brown's accountant between 2016 and 2021. Gasps. Cameras click. Kody gets up, angry. No, I didn't agree to this. He's violating confidentiality. Dana holds up a hand. Mr. Cooper has already cleared this with legal. He's here voluntarily. Robyn whispers, shaking, Oh my God, Kody, what did you do? David opens the folder. I came forward because I couldn't stand seeing the lies anymore. The LLC wasn't the only secret account. There were offshore transfers in Robyn's name. The audience explodes. Christine's face goes white. What? Kody yells. That's not true. David's voice remains even. It is. The money was transferred to a trust fund in the Cayman Islands 2 years ago, the same period of time the family said they were broke. Robyn begins to sob. No, I didn't know about that. I promise I didn't. Christine's voice shakes now, not with rage but incredulity. You lied to us and said you couldn't pay tuition. You lied to the children we couldn't afford Christmas. Kody pounds his fist on the table. You don't know the pressure I was under. Dana's voice breaks through the fray. Kody, is it true? Kody's breathing is rapid. His hands tremble. Cameras close in. His silence is louder than any response. Sometimes it's not the lie that destroys you, it's the moment when everyone else figures out you were never telling the truth. He finally speaks, his voice cracking. I did what I had to. For the family. For the show. You don't know what it's like to have everyone counting on you. Christine looks at him, tears streaming now. We weren't counting on you, Kody. We were hoping in you. And you took that hope and sold it. The studio is silent, no noise, no movement. Just raw, exposed emotion. Then, from the front row of the audience, a small voice speaks up, one of Christine's daughters watching from the crowd. You could have just said sorry, Dad. Crowd gasps again. Kody turns, his face collapsing into something fragile, broken. But before he can speak, Dana raises a hand. We're going to take a short break. The lights dim. The stage fades to black. And that's when you understand, sometimes the actual courtroom isn't constructed of wood and walls. It's constructed of recollections, and the individuals upon whom you can never make unhear your reality.